This is Sabbatical Sunday, and I'm here with Jess Braverman, who's the legal director at Gender Justice in Minneapolis, and has been doing incredible litigation around trans rights. And we're here together with a small group of folks who are trans scholars, advocates, thinkers, to kind of think through, is this the moment to just change the paradigm in which we're thinking about the dignity and rights of trans people? So tell us a little bit about some of the cases that you've got going on.
Yeah, absolutely. So Gender Justice is a nonprofit. We're in St. Paul, Minnesota, and we litigate cases in North Dakota and Minnesota, mostly Minnesota, but we are doing some in North Dakota now. And so we have successfully represented trans students in kindergarten, middle school, and high school in Minnesota to get protections from discrimination based on the fact that they're trans, and to be allowed to use bathrooms and locker rooms and that sort of thing in schools. And so those cases have been successful. We're also suing USA Powerlifting for discriminating against transgender women. They do not allow transgender women to compete in the women's events. And so that lawsuit made its way all the way to the Minnesota Supreme Court. We're waiting for a ruling from the Minnesota Supreme Court on that one. We are also litigating North Dakota's gender affirming care ban. Unfortunately, just last week we got a bad ruling on that case. But the good news is that the doctors in North Dakota and the families in North Dakota have been working really hard so that kids can get the care they need, but unfortunately they have to drive really far, some of them all the way across the state into Minnesota to get that care. So the good news is for a lot of the families, they are able to access the care, but the bad news is that they cannot access it in North Dakota, and there's the whole demoralizing issue of telling a court, like, this law is so bad it's harming me, and having a court say, well, so there's nothing I can do. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right. I mean, you were talking about this yesterday. It's so much so that you're standing in front of a court saying kids are killing themselves.
Yes.
Children are dying
Yes.
of suicide.
Yes.
Our parents are begging for this care, and the courts say, so what?
Yeah, there was a really sad story out of North Dakota that one of the doctors testified about, where a patient heard about the gender affirming care ban in North Dakota, and he almost died by suicide. He had to be airlifted into Minnesota, and he was in emergency care for a really long time, like for months. And so this law has had a devastating effect on trans kids, on their families, and on their ability to access health care. And it's really disheartening that you go in front of a judge, you lay it all bare, you have parents and kids who are saying how this has impacted them, and the judge says, well, there's nothing we can do, the Constitution doesn't protect you. It's really like they can still find ways to access the care elsewhere, but the ruling is so harmful in itself. It's just so sad.
Yeah, it's horrible. So any kernels, insights that you've gotten from this discussion over the last 2 days? We're here at Columbia University. We're outside the gates because, of course, they won't let us in the gates. So here we are at the gates. But a group of us have been meeting in another space nearby.
Yeah.
Any kernels that you're going to take home that have been helpful?
Yeah, I mean, really rethinking, seeing this as a time, like, this is a terrible time. People are materially not getting the things they need to survive and thrive. And so in no way do I make light of that. In no way do I see that as there are no real silver linings here, and I don't want to suggest otherwise. But, there is this encouragement of, if this is the situation we're in, how do we find an opportunity here to build back up, to get the protections we need, and to get the material things we really need to live our lives and to thrive. And so I think the shift towards, like, there's very little time for kind of feeling down. There's a lot of time for mobilizing, getting people what they need, and for rethinking the strategy. And so I think what I've gotten the most out of this meeting is, like, try to see this as an opportunity to build back up stronger.
Right. So we'll seek justice outside the courts until the courts are a site of justice again.
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it.
Inshallah, that will be a day soon. Jess, thank you for the work you're doing and that Gender Justice is doing. It's such an incredible organization. If you don't know them, look them up online. And what is it, genderjustice.org?
No, it's genderjustice.us for some reason, but find us there, genderjustice.us. And thank you so much for having me on your channel. This is fantastic.
Channel, yeah. All right, everybody.